Oftentimes over cycles, it's kind of like seasons. We fall into oversold, high fear environments. And just like seasons, when it's starting to come to an end and the nice weather, the bulls are approaching, you can kind of just smell it. I think that's kind of where we are. And I know there are a lot of bears. We are very well aware. If you're out there watching my YouTube channel, especially, you see the comments. The bears are there. So I want to start this video. This is an altcoin video. We're going to look at altcoin charts. There's one warning sign on that daily chart we were just looking at, but I want to look at ADA, Ethereum, XRP, and the total crypto market cap to kind of talk about the one warning sign. But before we talk about the altcoins, I do want to make a point to the bears. Speaking to sentiment, we've been here before. Retail Bitcoin holders, and this is why I focus on the data. Retail Bitcoin holders with balances under 1 Bitcoin are selling off their coins, mirroring the capitulation pattern seen in late 2020. I just want to make a note. Late 2020 was pretty much the beginning of the last bull market. So the beginning of the last bull market for Bitcoin and crypto, retail was selling. Today, this group holds 35% more Bitcoin than they did in 2020. So we are kind of right here in terms of retail and what they're doing. And it is so reflected in the sentiment on social media. It's very interesting to see this dynamic with on-chain metrics and sentiment. Go look at this video alone and check out the comments. This is what's happening. And I think when a lot of retail sells or they're not exposed to the market, they want nothing more than for this market to fail. It's almost like they need it to fail. So they are going to kind of post negatively about crypto because they do not want to kind of have zero exposure to the market and then all of a sudden it's a bull run. Spoiler alert, the fun part of the cycle is coming, Bitcoin. This chart kind of a very nice reflection, illustration of where we are in the cycle and what is yet to come. So on-chain metrics lining up in so many different ways, indicators lining up in so many different ways, monetary cycle and how that is kind of playing out, lining up. And we're going to look at altcoins. Last point, I want to kind of draw from this clip from Pantera Capital CEO. Check this out.
You bet your life it's not going to zero?
I used to tell people it could definitely go to zero to try and be, conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it, 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. Like it really has reached escape velocity.
But you're
escape velocity. It has reached escape velocity. Do you realize? First off, Pantera Capital is also bullish on altcoins. So if Bitcoin is in this environment and Bitcoin is going to reach escape velocity, what do you think altcoins are going to do or getting ready to do? And just check out this next clip, by the way.
745,000. I mean, I heard 13 million from Michael Saylor the other day.
So, all these guys in crypto, they all have their different milestones for Bitcoin. Saylor up around 13 million. We have Pantera Capital CEO saying around, 700 some thousand. Doesn't matter. I think the scarcity and the Bitcoin supply shock that is happening right now is becoming very evident to the big names in finance. Okay. So with that being said, what does that mean for altcoins? Altcoins poised for 100x gains as institutional interest surges post-Trump victory. We're going to look at a couple points from this article. It's a very good one. And then we're going to look at the charts. Crypto markets are poised for a significant surge as institutional investors increasingly allocate capital to high potential altcoins. Strategic investments made today could yield returns of up to 100 times by 2026, driven by growing institutional interest and favorable regulatory changes. That's not to say every altcoin, like I'm not sitting here saying Ethereum's about to see 100x, XRP, ADA is about to see 100x right now by 2026. But with those blue chips making moves and getting the institutional just interest that they're getting and the inflows that are getting ready to happen in altcoins, the lower caps, we see 100x opportunities every cycle. And that will once again be the case. Since the start of 2025, several altcoins have attracted the attention of US-based corporate investors who are racing to list altcoin ETFs as the SEC has relaxed its stance. And you know what happened with Gary Gensler most recently. It led to the rollback of multiple regulatory sanctions. And here's our headlines right now. Bitwise files to launch Aptos ETF. SEC acknowledges filing for Grayscale spot Cardano ETF. SEC acknowledges Hedera HBAR ETF filing from NASDAQ. Grayscale, do you see what is going on right now? And so let's pivot to the charts. I want to look at XRP, ADA, Ethereum, and then I want to look at total crypto market cap altcoin chart. Talk about it on the zoomed out, but also the short-term concern as we're getting ready to go into this very volatile, likely volatile week. XRP, I wanted to point this out. I saw this. John Bollinger, of all the major crypto vehicles, Ripple resisted the recent singing of the Sirens song best. Will it become the new leader? Really? It really did. XRP. Look at that. And what I mean by that is, if you measure, first off, this consolidation, very similar to something like ADA. This is a weekly ADA chart, but on the daily looks very similar to XRP. But if you measure the move, XRP from the swing high to where it is right now, down only 28%, right? Ultimately, it fell almost 50%, but down currently around 28%, which is very, very strong considering some other altcoins right now. But XRP has such good narratives this cycle, and the way in which this chart has consolidated, there seems to be like a switching of hands. There seems to be like this accumulation from people that got shook out of the market to the long-term value investors in XRP. And I continue to look at a lot of these charts, and I'm kind of just like, you know what? XRP had a phenomenal move. ADA had a really nice move, right, from November to the swing high. But I continue to I refuse to think that was the bull market. I refuse to think that was the bull market. I continue to think we're at this like setting up foundation starting point of the bull market, especially as we're starting to evaluate what the US dollar is doing, especially as we're starting to evaluate what the Fed is getting ready to do in terms of monetary cycles. I think there is a nice continuation in play for these charts. And XRP, first target to the upside still. We've been tracking it for quite some time now since kind of we reached this area, but that first target is still right around that $5 some range, $5 to $6 range. $8 range, so in play for XRP in terms of this cycle. We go over and we look at ADA. I did a video on this yesterday, but Coinbase Institutional, this is massive. This plays right into the institutional interest. Cardano just going mainstream to traditional finance. We're excited to announce Coinbase Derivatives has filed with CFTC to self-certify natural gas futures and Cardano futures. It's just absolutely bonkers. If we zoom out, and I know I did an ADA video on this yesterday, but we zoom out on where we are in the cycle, what is so phenomenal about ADA right now is it still hasn't even entered its bull market yet. What I wanted to do in terms of the ADA chart, because I did a whole ADA video last night, was very simply talk about the next short-term target for ADA. And yeah, even going into this week. And this does not mean we're definitely going to hit that area, but let's watch what happens if we can manage to make the move. The 20-week moving average is interesting to me, around 87 cents. We go back to the XRP chart, and this is a showcase of how XRP is actually looking very good. And that is this. It is above and really nice support at the 20-week. You go to a chart like ADA, and it's not game over for ADA at all, but you can just see it's fallen back below the 20-week. And that is fine, but that is the next target for ADA to the upside, and that is around 87 cents. If you change ADA to the daily, and then after we do this, we're going to go look at Ethereum and then that total crypto market cap altcoin chart to talk about one concern going into this week, but the 50-day moving average right around 80 cents. So those two milestones for ADA, I think, are very nice bullish confirmation areas because these are very key moving average areas. Short term, 80 cents, getting above all these moving averages, important. ADA might fail, and we might actually have a case of how that could look on the altcoin market cap in just a moment. But what happens if ADA tests this range? The 20-day moving average around 77 up to around 80 at the 50-day. That's the next very short-term target. And if ADA can break that on the weekly, ADA needs to get above that 20-week moving average. And if it does, we could be back in kind of bull territory. So that's the path for ADA as we start this week. I'm not really talking too much about downside on the altcoin charts, although it obviously is always there. If we go here and we look at Ethereum charts, check it out. I want to say, I continue to sit here and track this pattern. We've been tracking it for quite some time, right? We broke to the downside, and what we've been talking about is the potential for the pullback to the lower trend line. That will be the test for Ethereum. I think that move is coming soon, especially now as we're getting this 50 crossing below the 20. We like to see cryptos pull back to those moves, right? When that type of move happens, we like to see those moving averages retested. So Ethereum could very much pull back into this trend line. The question will be at that moment, and this will have to just rely on what markets are doing. But in that moment, what is crypto doing? What is the Fed doing whenever this happens? Is there going to be rejection and continue down? Or do we break back into the pattern and the busted pattern is in play and Ethereum goes crazy? That will be huge for altcoin season. But I continue to think that move is in play. The one thing I wanted to mention, though, is this. There is a very strong case where Ethereum just has to kind of feel a little more pain, right? And that could be this week with the Fed meeting and all that. And I don't mean just Ethereum. I mean altcoin markets in general. And we might just see this chart just start falling and trying to find a bottom in oversold environments on the, like, if we go to the daily chart, check out the daily chart. We're looking for this reversal just above the oversold because it just hit oversold. We're kind of looking for the reversal in this move. This could play out over the week. This doesn't have to be the bottom right now. Ethereum could very well go a little bit lower and put in even more bullish divergence. That's something to track going into the next few days or so, going into the Fed meeting. But again, there's that pullback area. Look at these moving averages to hurdle over along the way. 20-day at 2,100, 50-day at 2,500 or so. There's that trend line pullback area, and then the 200 right around 2,900. $1,000 move for Ethereum is in play right now to retest all those things, those areas, and if it breaks and starts closing above, game on, bull confirmation. Total crypto market cap. Look at the weekly. It looks very nice on the weekly chart, right? 50-week moving average support. We like to see it. I want to see a continuation above the 50-week moving average, meaning we don't close any weekly candles below the 50-week moving average, and it very well could happen. That's what we want to see here. I want to mention, though, something. There is a case, again, I'm trying to leave some room for continued bottoming out. And really back here, remember that crazy consolidation we had before the next leg up? So we had a leg up, crazy consolidation, leg up. We're in a consolidation. Just look how much time it kind of took, right? So there's not necessarily this massively strong case that the bottom is in and we're just up only right now. There's a case where we're kind of wicking down and testing below the 50, below and above the 200, and it's kind of what happened here, the bottoming out of that move. And if you go look at the RSI, you can just see how it was just a very like choppy RSI consolidation before the leg up. We've not had that right now, right? Maybe a little bit more structure on the RSI before the move to the upside. So I'd anticipate some volatility. Maybe we get a little bit moved to upside. People get excited. We're going back down. People are calling for bear market. We're going back up. You know how that goes before the actual exit of the consolidation. On the short term, this is the warning sign. It's kind of this 20-day crossing below the 200-day moving average. That green crossing below the red line. And if we go back and we look, I just want to point this to your attention. We had a 20-day crossing below the 200 back here. I want to make a note. That was pretty much the average of the bottom, right? So we went higher, we went lower, we wrapped around that entire area before exiting. And this is kind of what I'm talking about on the weekly chart. This might be an area of interest, right around 800 billion that we're maybe we go up a little bit higher, start to week. Rejection at the 50-day moving average. Then we're falling lower, maybe even lower, right? Maybe we're in like the 600s. So kind of a move like this, people are really freaking out. The bear market's starting and boom, that's actually going to be the bottom. I'm getting more bullish as this move progresses because we're getting into a true formation, a bottom formation. I don't know exactly how it will look like. We have examples of what it could look like, and we want to brace for volatility, especially on weeks where there's a Fed meeting. But that's what I'm watching for. Now that we're here, now that the 20's crossing below the 200-day moving average, what is the bottom formation? And it's not going to look exactly like that. Highly doubt it will, right? We can't just take a fractal from that 20 crossing below the 200 and just say, boom, this is what the move will look like. It could be, it could take longer. It could be way shorter, right? And this can flip very quick to the upside. So long story short, everybody, I'm trying to condense it all. And I haven't even touched on like 95% of the bullish stuff that's going on in crypto right now. I'm just trying to condense it all to kind of sum up as we start this new week or get ready to start this new week, likely volatile because of the Fed meeting, the case for a bull market that is still not yet happening. Now is the time to prepare. Now is the time not to listen to the negativity, in my view. And that's all this is. This is my opinion. I'm just tracking the charts and I'm tracking the cycles in my crypto journey here. But this is just what I think. Now is the time to truly focus and get ready for what I think is getting ready to happen. So these are my thoughts today, everybody. I hope you're doing well out there. Hope you're having a good weekend. Subscribe, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that like button. That support, it really does mean a ton to me. So I'll see you in the next video. God bless.